I think Minecraft got that bug for everybody. Like, oh my god, we can tell the world how to make itself.
Exactly, and it is so cool. But I kind of wanted to extend the length of Scale Attack by letting the world build itself. And then I really sat down and thought, like, yeah, but what if like doors appear in weird places where you can't get them? I'm gonna need rules for that. I'm gonna need rules to make sure that an enemy doesn't appear like in a wall somewhere. And this stuff is all doable, but not for me.
Yeah, what was it? I think it was. I don't want to say it was Shovel Knight, but it was something like that, where the developer of it has a procedurally generated world. Every room, it comes by itself. It's random every time. And what he did is he split the room into chunks and made a path for it and all that. And it's like, that's ingenious, but that's gonna be a nightmare to try to do, on your own.
It was insane. I wanted to say it was Spelunky, but I might.
Yes, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Like, he had chunks of randomly created rooms that all work together to create an entrance point and an exit point. And I was just like, this is insane. I wish I could do that.
Yeah, but, that's...
taking it back down to a more manageable area for myself, I was like, you know what, I'm an artist and a designer. I'm going to take pride in hand placing every aspect of every room and just making a controlled experience. Like, when you go into the blacksmith's shop, which I finished the background art for recently, and I'm really proud of. Everything's laid out exactly the way I want it to be, and I don't have to rely on random generation. But having said that, I do love random number generation.
Yeah.
And I use it in smaller ways within Scale Attack.
Mm-hmm.
Like my critical hit. My critical hit mechanic uses random numbers to decide when you're going to do a critical and how much it's going to be within a certain range.
So it's just entirely random. There's no.
It's random, but it's like a controlled randomness. Like I can't remember the exact numbers at the moment, but we'll say every time you attack, let's say you roll a number between 1 and 20, and if the number rolled is 20 exactly, then it's a critical. So if it's a critical, then we do another random roll between the ranges of 30 and 50, and whatever that roll is your critical. So when you're attacking and you're not doing a critical, you're doing like 15 damage. But when you do a crit, it's like you get this random opportunity to do much higher damage within a controlled range.
Smite.
So, and going to see the blacksmith, that increases the range that your critical hits can be.
Okay.
So, hopefully that doesn't sound too weird. It feels really good when I'm playing it, but hopefully other people will agree. And to a lesser extent, more for fun, whenever you talk to your bat companion, she is going to have a pretty huge list by the time it's all said and done of random things that she can say, and it's going to pull one up randomly every time, so that hopefully by the time you finish the game, you will not have seen everything that she has to tell you. Some of it's humorous, some of it's actually helpful, some of it's just kind of like, have you read any good books lately? Just stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we've been standing here for 5 minutes. I'm getting bored. Are you?
Because, this bat is pretty much your best friend in the whole dungeon. And she really has nothing better to do than to just kind of talk your ear off if you let her.
It sounds like you really, really upgraded the Navi concept from Ocarina, man.
Yeah. Indeed. So you can access the bat chat, and that's what I call it. You can access bat chat at any time during the game, but there will be certain invisible triggers where she really wants to tell you something that's relevant and actually helpful, and she will get an exclamation mark above her head when you're in that area, and if you talk to her there, she'll tell you something that's very relevant to the moment. And it was great getting that all worked out, because I can have her be just really random and casual, and then be like, telling you something that's very helpful.
It's like, hey, I actually know something that can help you. Let me help you. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Like, and kind of like in real life, you don't have to take her advice. You don't even have to speak to her at all. So I've gotten the response from a lot of people that the bat is just adorable and they love the way she looks.
It is.
And it was what pushed me to give the bat a larger role in helping you out. At first, it was just going to be like a Navi concept. She was going to stop you and tell you things. And I was like, okay, that works. I'll hang on to that, kind of sleep on it, and see what happens. And then people are like, this bat is adorable. Like, I love looking at this bat. I don't even know if the bat does anything, but she's just so cute. And I was like, maybe, I know, I'll give her some magic spells. I'll let her handle all the magic spells. So it doesn't change the gameplay at all, because it would be you casting the exact same spell with the exact same effects. But this just adds like a different charm to that. And
yeah.
That's kind of like the basis that skill attack is built on, like charm.
So, okay, so she's the one that actually handles the attacks. I'm guessing there are monsters and enemies that can, attack you back.
Yeah,
Does she take any of the brunt of it, or is it all on your skeleton?
Are you referring to damage?
Yeah.
The bat actually doesn't take any damage. In a very early version of the game, your bat companion was able to be killed, and I don't know, it didn't really feel good to me. It kind of reminded me of like if you were playing Banjo-Kazooie and then Kazooie dies and you have to complete the rest of the game without your partner. Yeah. It just kind of felt weird. So
maybe for a hardcore challenge mode, but not for your standard mode.
Yeah, exactly. And I've not really considered what a hard mode would consist of, but that's something that might be possible. I'll have to see how it all goes. I've got so much work ahead of me.
I mean, I'm just looking at where you're at so far, and I'm guessing it's just you're in a more advanced mode of what I am, but mostly just put in content. Because everything that I've seen just looks so well finished already. I'm amazed you don't have any sort of alpha out.
I guess you haven't scrolled back far enough in my timeline, but yeah, there's some pretty ugly stuff in there. About this, or I think it was September of 2015, but it very quickly I tried to kind of beef it up and make it look like something that people would actually want to retweet and share and talk about. Once I was set in this is definitely the game that I'm doing. This is definitely the setting and the plot and the characters. I felt good with laying in some pretty finished artwork. And I'm spending a lot of time polishing this demo and squashing as many bugs as possible, so that by the time I release it and people are playing it and doing further testing and helping me out with that, I'll already have a pretty solid foundation on which to build the final game. Mm-hmm. So by that point, I'll add some more enemies, of course, because right now I only have 3 enemies. Better animations or better artwork for certain things, but for the most part, right now it's just kind of watching out for bugs and building out some levels for this demo. And it's just great, building entirely new sections of the dungeon and not having to obsess over certain things. Is this going to work if I put it here? I don't know. I don't know what this is going to do. I've tested this thing so much. Now I just run around and
it's okay, everything's working. Let's just add a room.
Yeah, everything's going as expected. So there was one thing that happened that made me laugh out loud when it occurred, because I hadn't planned for it, but it was just one of the ways that my underlying system it knows what it needs to be doing for the most part. I have these arrow traps that will find your X and Y location and fire an arrow at that location. You can use it to you can use the arrow traps to attack enemies if you kind kind of hop over an enemy while the thing is shooting at you, and it'll like go down into their head. Anyway, I also put in this function where you can deflect arrows with your sword if you time it right.
Nice.
And it'll shoot off in some other random direction. Well, one day I was playtesting, and I did the deflect thing just to make sure it was working, and it deflects into an enemy, and the enemy took the damage, and I was like, no way, like a ricocheted arrow. It's a really simple concept. Like, of course that should happen.
Yeah.
But I hadn't actually thought about it, but it totally worked. So maybe there will be some interesting moments like that for other players where they have like an interaction that they just did not plan for.
Have you thought about using precise collision checking to be able to aim it instead of imprecise collision?
I've not looked into it. Like, I've seen people talking about it, and I've seen it within GameMaker, and I know that it's an option, but I haven't. Like, right now, I'm just using, like invisible masks to decide collision areas. I haven't messed with the precise collisions at all. If it doesn't break anything, I might go for it. But
yeah, that's definitely something that, from what I've worked on using the different balances in collision, things can go very right, or things can go completely screwy very fast. So
yeah, in my very light reading of it, that's exactly what I've been seeing from people too. So it kind of put me off of it for a while, because I was like, anything that I just am not sure of right now, I just kind of avoid it, because I worry about breaking this game every day.
Well, dude, I cannot wait to I can't wait to play it. Honestly, I just enjoy watching your art come out every couple of days or every week.
Appreciate it, man. I hope you enjoyed the demo as much as you've enjoyed the art. Like, I'm working really hard every year to make sure that it's not just a pretty game. Like, it's actually going to work.
Yeah.
Systems are going to work together, and there shouldn't be too much wrong with it. I know that the playtesters will always find something that I didn't account for, but like, I feel really good now about putting Skeletech out there in the next couple of weeks and letting people find these things and not feeling ashamed of it,
Dude, if your demo's coming out in the next couple of weeks, I'm most definitely gonna stream it. I will stream it until I complete it.
Dude, that would be fantastic. And along the way, like, any weirdness that you find, certainly send it to me, because I'm not trying to put this game out and then just forget about it. Like,
yeah.
My name is going to be attached to this game in a huge way, so I want it to be as perfect as I can get it.
Understandably.
I'll never achieve like absolute perfection, but I'm gonna do the best I can and address people's concerns as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely stream it. Tell your friends about it. Tell your streaming friends about it. Like, I want as many people to see the demo in action as possible, because things get cropped down when I post it on Twitter so that I can focus on what I'm trying to show you, and it's like a 3-second GIF sometimes. It's just you see certain things and they do look cool, but it's not like, it's not what the full game is actually going to look like.
Of course.
There's going to be so much more.
Yeah, Twitter's only got 5 megabytes that you can upload in a GIF. It's not.
I was reading recently that they updated it to 15, which is great. I haven't tried that yet, but even with 5, I mean, it was kind of limiting, because if you've got a lot of movement in your footage and a lot of different frames of changing colors,
it goes real fast.
It really beats it up.
I think the longest I've been able to put is like 7 seconds.
Oh god, yeah, and it's like 7 seconds is nothing, in terms of showing what your gameplay is.
Oh yeah.
So that's why usually you'll see me showing off like, hey, here's a burning torch.
Here's the bat casting fire. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just really short things, and not a whole lot of running around slicing people up and causing chaos. But it's coming, man. I'm putting it together.
Anything else you want to plug, dude? You've got open mic. You've done more talking this episode than I think I've done in this episode and Turtles.
Dude, yeah, I don't want to like try to take it over.
No, that's what this is for. Is for developers to explain